All right, so today we're going deep on journeys. Well,
Journeys.
more like pilgrimages,
Oh, okay.
Those trips folks make to places with like a ton of spiritual meaning.
Right, right. Places that resonate on a deeper level.
Exactly. And it's not always like super religious either.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Yeah, sometimes it's more personal,
Yeah,
cultural even, or what some might call like secular, but still spiritual.
I see. A journey for the soul, not necessarily tied to a specific doctrine.
That's the ticket. And today we're focusing on two cities that are pilgrimage hotspots, Jerusalem and Mecca.
Two cities absolutely steeped in history and meaning. I'm excited to dive into this.
Me too. It's fascinating how these cities like attract billions of people, right?
It's true. They represent such a tangible connection to history, to these belief systems that have shaped civilizations. It's
Yeah.
the shared human experience unfolding across time.
Yeah, no, it's mind-blowing. But let's start with Jerusalem, a city holy to, well, a lot of folks. Judaism, Christianity, Islam.
Each finding profound meaning in this ancient city.
It's wild, like drawn to the same magnet, but like for different reasons. What's the pull?
Well, in Jerusalem, you really feel those layers of history, like almost physically, it's palpable.
I can imagine.
For Jewish people, it's the promised land, the heart of their spiritual identity.
Right, the core.
And the Temple Mount, where the first and second temple stood, that's central. It's like spiritual ground zero.
And even though those temples are gone, there's still the Western Wall, right?
Exactly. A piece of that ancient structure still standing strong. It's believed the Ark of the Covenant was kept inside the temple, the one with the 10 Commandments.
Wow.
So you can imagine all those hopes and dreams like embedded in those stones.
Heavy stuff.
And for many Jewish people, leaving prayers, messages in those cracks of the Western Wall, it's a way to connect directly with their history and faith. It's like a physical manifestation of that yearning.
Man, that image really like gets to me. Must be incredible to be there, in person. Now, for Christians, Jerusalem's super connected to Jesus, right?
Absolutely. It's like walking through the pages of the Gospels.
Oh,
The Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus prayed before his crucifixion, and the Stations of the Cross. Intensely powerful spiritually. Each step, is like retracing those moments in history, connecting with their faith on a visceral level.
powerful. And then there's Islam, which also holds Jerusalem as sacred. Why is that?
For Muslims, the Temple Mount is believed to be where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven,
Oh, wow.
linking the earthly to the divine. And the Dome of the Rock, that incredibly beautiful shrine, stands on the Temple Mount, a symbol of that event.
It's amazing how this one place holds such deep meaning for so many different people. Okay, let's shift gears to Mecca, a place with, unique significance for Muslims. What makes this city so special?
Well, Mecca, also known as Mecca, is considered the holiest city in Islam. Being the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad, it's inherently sacred. At its heart, you have the Kaaba, this large, black, cube-shaped building in the Masjid al-Haram.
I've seen pictures. It's striking.
It's not a deity or anything, but it's a focal point, a symbol of God's presence and the unity of Muslims.
So Muslims around the world face the Kaaba when they pray.
Yes, 5 times a day.
What's the deeper meaning there?
It's more than facing a direction. It's aligning yourself physically and spiritually with this global community, submitting to something larger.
Yeah.
Imagine millions all across the world turning to face the same point 5 times a day.
Powerful.
It is. And then there's the Hajj, the annual pilgrimage to Mecca, one of the 5 pillars of Islam.
Big deal, right?
Absolutely. The 5 pillars are like the core of Islam. And the Hajj is a journey every Muslim, if they're able, is expected to make once in their lifetime.
So all this talk about journeys, sacred journeys, brings us back to the big question, right?
Okay, what's that?
Why is it considered like better to actually be there?
The age-old question.
Can't you get the same feeling from, I don't know, a book, a documentary?
That's a great question, and something our sources really dig into. It comes down to 3 things: people, place, and practice.
Okay, break that down for me.
Being physically present with other pilgrims, it creates this powerful sense of community, shared purpose.
Right, like you're all in it together.
Exactly. You're not just reading about history or faith, you're experiencing it alongside others.
People on the same path.
That's powerful stuff. And then the power of place. Being in a location steeped in history, spiritual meaning.
It evokes something.
It goes beyond words, like the energy of the place seeps into you. You become part of something larger.
You can read about the Western Wall, But to touch those stones, feel their coolness, see the prayers tucked in those cracks.
Totally different experience.
Absolutely.
And finally, the practice itself. Engaging in traditions, fulfilling an obligation, it's about connecting to something beyond the everyday.
It can be demanding, right?
Physically and emotionally, but people often describe feeling transformed afterwards.
It's not just the destination.
Yeah,
It's the whole journey.
exactly.
Makes you think. What places hold, deep meaning for you? What would it mean to actually experience them? A place tied to family history, a natural wonder, a site that represents something, I don't know, important to you. This deep dive has definitely gotten me thinking. Thanks for joining us.